Hello, you guys. I thought I would show you a little bit about GitHub and signing up and setting some of these configuration files when you get your GitHub account. So you'll see here I have a Windows computer, and you're going to get to GitHub, by opening Google Chrome, and you're going to go to github.com. And if you don't already have a Google or a GitHub account, you'll need to sign up. It's going to ask you for an email address, and I think it will ask you to choose a username and also a password, and you want to make note of your email, username, and password that you use when you set up this account, because you're going to need that information. I already have an account, so I'm going to go ahead and sign in. And the first time you sign in, it's going to look like this, and I typically will see it with my username at the end. So you have github.com/ in your username, and you're going to see a window like this most of the time when you come to GitHub. And we will learn more about working here, but probably it's just good for you to see, github.com/ your username, and repositories is the place that you're going to see most of your repositories. I have a lot of them there. You can search for a repository based on the name. So if you type in some text, it'll show you any repository name that matches some of that text. If I go into one, you're going to see a repository. You'll see some information showing here. This is in what they call a README markdown file. It says readme.md. That MD stands for markdown. And GitHub is configured to display the information that's on the README file so you can read it. This is how I've displayed a lot of information for our assignments. Up here at the top, you'll notice there's my username and the name of this repository. And so it's really easy to get into. Say if I went in to look at this file specifically and edit it, I could just get back to either my main account or to the main repository by clicking on that, and that will take me there. We're going to learn more about how to use some of these buttons. We'll be using these green code buttons to copy the address for our repositories and also download the files in the repository. We'll also be using this add file button to upload files to our repositories, and you will all be using the fork button to create copies of the assignments, and that will create a copy of this repository from my account onto your account. And you'll see how to do this in other videos. So this is just giving you a little bit of what to look at. So once you have your GitHub account, you need to configure a couple items in there. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to configure a couple things on your computer. So I'm going to go ahead and close that, and we're going to want to get into a terminal and run the code git config, and then you're going to use your email address, and let's go ahead and do that step. I'm going to go ahead and copy that text just to make that a little easier to put in. So in this machine, I'm going to go to the command prompt again, and I'm going to paste Oh, it doesn't like that copy and paste because I'm going to a remote computer. So I will just type this in. So you're going to type in git config global user email, and the email that I used when I created this was that. So you want to use that email that you put in, and you'll see that it didn't give me any error messages. If you had any questions, we can type this back in, git config global user email, and you should get your email back. So you know that setting got set correctly. We also want to set the username for Git, so we're going to type git config global username, and that's the username that I used when I set up my GitHub account. And I can double check that that setting got set correctly by checking that value once again, and that looks like that came back correctly. And once you have set this, then you're going to take a screenshot of this again, and you're going to turn this in on your Canvas assignment showing that you got a GitHub account and you set up, you configured these global variables in Git. And we're going to take a screenshot by hitting Windows Shift S and selecting the part of the screen showing that, and turn that in Canvas. I hope that's helpful, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.